Toews on 680 CJOB.
Hello. Wow. Is this the final week of June? Well, I have Monday off, so it is for me. I was
Are you off Monday?
I was smart enough to take Monday off because Canada Day is on Tuesday.
Oh, that is brilliant.
It's not just a hat rack, Jim.
You just worked in a 4-day weekend.
I did.
I'm the veteran. I should be able to know this.
Well, see,
You should book this and be told, oh, Toews already booked it. That's a veteran move you just pulled.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's a couple other
Thanks,
days.
Cam.
There's a couple other holidays falling on Tuesdays that I've taken Mondays off coming up this year yet.
So, look, what can I say?
You got to get ahead of,
You
Jim.
outsmarted me
You got to
again.
look at these January. This is when you got to get ahead on this stuff.
The difference is you have your whole life ahead of you, and I'm day to day, so I don't look ahead too much anymore.
I don't look. I'm not coming in on Canada Days on a Tuesday. I'm not going to be caught dead in the office on a Monday.
Never even thought about that. I knew Portage and Maine is opening on Canada Day weekend, so I thought it was on a weekend again. But that's a veteran move. Good for you. Nice little 4-day weekend for you.
Had a good weekend. Went out to my grandpa Ken's out near Hillside Beach, up the 59, just before Grand Pines Golf Course, which I know you know very well, right across from the Birchwood.
Love it. Yes, the
Birch. It was his 75th. Well, it wasn't technically his birthday, but we were out there. We're out there celebrating it, so we took a day trip out there on Sunday. That was real nice. Took the boy up there for the first time. My dad is long history out at the beach. So it was
at
nice.
VB?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vic. Yeah. My family's up there too. I got family.
It's beautiful out there.
Yep. Uncle Ed.
The bike still,
Aunt
no
Joe,
vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice little weekend. I went out to the pierogi run for the Movement Center of Manitoba yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I was blown away. So many people out there. Such a great event, and they raised $150,000 fundraising organization. So for the Movement Center of Manitoba, which was really good. And I ran into a ton of people I know that I haven't seen in a while. And so Reed Carruthers, the curler, the skip, the coach was out there.
Oh, the Reed Carruthers.
Reed Carruthers,
wow.
Yeah.
Briar athlete.
Yes, and coach now.
Yeah,
really enjoying the coaching. He said.
Fantastic coach.
Yes.
Yeah, he's done real well.
With Team Einerson. So,
yeah.
But I ran into Andrew from Boston Pizza, and he said, just loving the Jets at noon. I'm like, well, we're loving the triple pep and the nachos and all that. So
yeah,
BP was out there as well.
We always
thank
take
you for all
more.
the
We always accept more.
You know, Andrew, he was trying to shove whole pizzas out. Take it for your family. And I'm like, keep it for the volunteers. He's like, we got extra. And I'm like, I can't keep running into you and taking whole pizzas.
Jets Noon is brought to you by
What a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza studio. Try the new Triple Pep Pizza only at Boston Pizza. Also brought to you by Jets at Noon is brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line. Win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. Now in the summer months, Jim, you like a barbecue, don't you?
Love barbecue.
Had a barbecue on Sunday. Very nice. Grandma Carol, she made like this incredible spread. It's outstanding. So that was awesome.
Are you barbecuing or are you grilling?
Well, it's yeah. Well, technically, it's grilling.
My friend Roger in Kansas City,
Well, yeah,
Missouri.
okay.
This is Missouri, right?
Yes.
And I know you're going to bring this up because I'm a propane guy.
I'm also a propane guy.
I grew up with my father doing the charcoal, and then once I became like a kid, in the 80s, he was like going to the propane. But we went to years ago in Kansas City, and he brought out, he goes, we're going to cook steaks tonight. And it took like 4 hours because he's a charcoal guy. He warms it up and then he gets it right. And then he puts a little hickory on it and stuff. And I'm like, he goes, well, this is grilling.
Well,
this isn't barbecue.
How was the steak?
I can't. It was good.
It was good. You
All
remember?
steak are good.
Yeah. Well,
I remember the maple wood scotch he poured with it. That was
that
never had that.
Well, it's in down south too. That's grilling too. Just if you're putting burgers or steaks on a grill, that's grill. Barbecue is low and slow brisket that you start at 3 a.m. and then it's ready to eat at 7 p.m. That's
and they
barbecue.
do that at Chiefs games as part of the tailgate. There's grills out there, and they're famous for their.
That is my favorite food, by the way. Like Midwest, Southern American barbecue is my favorite food in the world. It just cannot beat it. Brisket's my favorite food. But I'm also a propane guy because you know what I do with propane, Jim? That's all it takes. Charcoal, there's like a task, there's work involved. Propane.
This is a good question, 780-6868, because we're going to reheat some takes, especially
we're
the Jonathan
reheating
Toews
takes. That's
ones.
right, yeah.
Is all you out there, are you Are you a propane or are you a charcoal person?
So the winner of the VIP text that's going to win the VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method down at 690 St. Anne's Road. I'm telling you that right now. It might be a Jets take, and also you throw in a little bit. Are you a charcoal? You're a propane man.
Yeah,
throw that in there. So, or are you a pellet griller? Some people are pellet grill people now.
I think most are propane because of the speed of
the convenience, yeah.
But I also know there's some people out there that plan like on a Thursday, they're going to do it Sunday or Saturday, and they get the charcoal and they go in. So I want to know if there's the charcoal people still exist out there.
My good friend Chris and my brother are charcoal people, and they swear by it because they like to sit. They like to go out on the deck, crack a few, just get it going, just go through the little they enjoy.
They have the time.
Well, yeah, they have the time.
To be at one with themselves. They probably have time to go get their own meat, like hunt it and stuff.
Yeah, so they like the process, right? The setup. So I can totally understand that. And listen, my wife is a vegetarian, so as Samuel L. Jackson says in Pulp Fiction, that pretty much makes me a vegetarian as well. There's no reason for me to have a charcoal grill. It's all propane. Like there's just like what are we going to do in there? You know what I mean? But let's fire up some. Let's reheat some of the free for all Friday leftovers here. Ernie texts the show and says the people saying that Toews is too old have nothing and has nothing left are laughable. Have they been scouting his workout or reading his medical reports? Are Ovechkin or Perry or Marchand too old and washed up? Nobody knows until we see him in action. That's from Ernie. And Jeff says also, Jeff threw in there too, and I just tagged this one on here because they're kind of together. If Marchand can do it, then Jonathan Toews can do it too. What do you think about that, Jim Toth?
Yeah, so this was one of the hottest topics for me on the weekend.
Yeah.
But it really, like I've had a lot of people who, everybody's excited for this. And I don't just mean here in Manitoba. Like I think everybody in the hockey world is excited to see Jonathan Toews back, and then you add in with his hometown. But a lot of the talk is like people think that he is like his old self, right?
Yeah.
More, and I shouldn't say all people, but most people I talked to throughout the weekend, including at the run that brought it up, think that he has more than what we're giving him credit for. Now, what I'm giving him credit for is I think he's going to come in, and if he plays 70 to 80 games, probably have 35, 40, 42 points. That's, a win. Anything above that is a bonus. But a lot of people think he's not washed and he's not done, and he's coming in and going to put up 60 points given whatever role he has and contribute.
Yeah.
I just keep going back to like he is one of the most driven athletes, and he's always been in physical condition, and now we're hearing that he's in better condition than ever, which he was never not in great shape.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like it just, to me, it was a fast game when he was in it, but this is a faster than ever game. If you watch that Stanley Cup final, as good of hockey as it was between the Oilers and the Panthers, it was just so fast to me. Like it was a level above. So that's what I'm concerned about. But I think most people I've talked to, because you try to wade through the whole excitement over the hometown boy coming home, Stanley Cup champion and all that, and donning the number 19 in Jets. I get that. You try to weed through that and go, what is a good expectation, not just a lower expectation. And most people feel that he's going to come in and make a difference. I think most people fear not a massive difference, but he's going to come in and help this team. And so that's kind of where I think, to answer that text question, is just that, I think a lot of people are maybe too cautious. I don't know.
It's not going to take long.
Or some people, I should say.
Like on Friday, I said, I want to fast forward to January to see where he's at. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think we'll know by mid-November where his game's at. That's when I think. And listen, he's wearing number 19. So what does he owe David Gustafson? Is that a stake?
That I don't know.
Is Jonathan Toews going to fire up the
real quick?
Is he going to fire up the propane?
A bag of charcoal?
Yeah.
We're talking in our terms. In their terms, it's a Rolex watch. Or a couple K.
Listen, if he's giving him 19, come on, John.
Yeah. Look, I don't know what it is anymore. Like, it's different in every sport. The guys are asking me that on the start today, and I'm like, it's like in Major League Baseball, it starts and ends with a Rolex, right? Like it's $100,000. Easy or something. So I don't know, but I would imagine the other part of this is David Gustafson I would assume, be like, this is a Hall of Fame player coming in. I don't mind.
Yeah.
However,
so I wouldn't say no to that Rolex.
Yeah, I don't know. And what I mean by that is I would just assume, it's only an assumption, but I would assume that there's like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to. And then there's a gift coming. Like, I don't think there was an ask there. I think there was a gift going back the other way for doing it.
Yeah. What would Jim Toews do with a Rolex?
Get me out of a couple jams, I'll tell you that.
Let's take a break.
I don't know what I would do.
204-780.
Probably not wear it.
Hide it in a box somewhere and never speak of it. It's like Gandalf told Frodo, before he left to Minas Tirith to uncover the secrets behind the ring. He goes, keep it secret, keep it safe.
Absolutely no clue what you're referencing or talking about right now.
That's exactly what I would do with it. Yeah. Believe me, there's people out there that know what I'm talking about.
I believe there is.
Let's take a break. Let's come back on the other side. We'll reheat some more Jonathan Toews takes, and we'll continue to unpack just how big of a signing this is for the Winnipeg Jets. And also, you know what? I didn't get to this on Friday, and I want to make sure I get it in today. We had some takes on trading Connor Hellebuyck. And some people had some problems with that. And they called into the Boston Pizza hotline.
Two things on that quickly. I was surprised by how many people believe in the trade. And I was also surprised with how many people weighed in and adamant that that's not the smartest move.
These are guys who called the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Dig into the new Triple Pet Pizza and Double Trouble Nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. The number one caller on Friday will be awarded a $50 gift certificate to Boston Pizza. We'll be right back with one of these text messages. Let's talk face-offs.
Jets at noon with Cameron Poitras and Jim Toth on 680 CJOB.
See, we got a fun text here from Terry. Terry says, after seeing the Panthers tear up the Miami bar scene, makes me wonder what spots the Jets would party at if they win the Cup. He says, I'm guessing Earl's downtown, the Pal, and maybe the Woodbine, ?
That is a great question, because the Elbow Room has never gotten more publicity in Florida, in Miami.
Would they go
Maybe
to the
they
Pal?
have, I don't know.
Maybe they would have went to the old Pal for sure. The new Pal they probably would go to too, just because it's so iconic. The Forks. I'm so out of touch with bars, man.
I mean, when the Bombers won, they made a stint at the Brazen Hall, and then they went to Nicolino's, and I mean, they had now I don't know if that was their main one that night, the Elbow Room was, but I mean, if you won a Game 7 here in Winnipeg and you're probably there till, is it different in Florida? Because that thing is open all night. Yeah. Or also open at 8 a.m.
I don't think this thing would have extended listen, if the Jets win the Cup, it's not going this long. Maybe they'll go to Lake. Are the Jets players as open? Would they be as open as this?
Maybe I don't know.
That's a good question.
This is this always happened, right? But you would never watch it. You're literally watching a live Stanley Cup championship party at the bars, and I don't. I mean,
what does this caller want to talk about face-offs about? This texter. We'll discuss that after this. Jets at Noon brought to you by Wash Method Car Wash, 690 St. Anne's Road. VIP take on the text line to win a VIP car wash from our good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6868. We're coming at you live from the Boston Pizza Studio. Try the new Triple Pet Pizza only at Boston Pizza. Kelly texts the show and says, if Jonathan Toews hits 60 points, I'll do up baby back ribs for you boys on Jets at noon. At lunch is what I was saying. On Jets at lunch on my charcoal smoker. I actually believe he will hit 60 points this year. I just love using my charcoal smoker and do dynamite ribs that you guys will love. Kelly, don't tease me. Do not tease me.
So Toews gets 60 points this year,
and we get ribs.
What if it's 58 points and then they go to the playoffs and gets 2 more?
It's a great question.
It's a season, right? Yeah. We get ribs.
Kelly, don't tease me.
Kelly,
don't mess with me.
Kelly,
if you're coming out here and you're throwing this at us, and you're just BSing and you're just gonna, walk it back or just ignore me when I constantly text you 60, 59, 58 as he continues to go on down and down the list.
Don't pull a high school thing on me and say I'll call you.
Yeah.
And then never
do it.
Anybody call him up? No. Well, he's got 60 points. Somebody should have called.
Somebody should have said that.
They said they were going to.
Somebody should.
This is a great text. Jim, there's a guy named Sid in the same age as Jonathan Toews, who is still a pretty effective player. 80% of JT would be a pretty good hockey player. That's a great way to put it, right?
Yeah.
There are 37-year-olds. Now, the difference between Crosby and Toews is obviously they're not the same player points-wise. But 80% of Jonathan Toews is like 70% of what we've seen from him. If that works, right? That makes the Jets better. Predominantly what everybody over the weekend that has talked about this, that addressed it with me, said the same thing. Like, if you can get, so there's two things here. Like, it's not going to hurt them. And now the question is just how much is it going to help them? Like, the one thing I am pretty certain about, in my opinion, is he's not going to come in and be like, oh, we got a healthy scratch him. It's just not working out.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to come in, he's going to play, and he's going to help them. And it might just be face-offs or whatever. But and then it's the bonus side of that, right? And these are risks the Jets have to take, Cam. You and I have talked about this for a while now. Whether it was like maybe an offer sheet to a Rossi in Minnesota or McTavish in Anaheim. Like, who knows if these guys are legit second-line centers for the next 7 years. But the Jets are the organization that has to risk a little bit sometimes. Mm-hmm. And so I think this is a risk of low end. I don't think he's going to hurt them like most people think. And I think that, to the point of the texter here who said Sidney Crosby's still pretty good. Now, Sidney Crosby's been playing every year, though. He had his concussion issues years ago, but the last 2 or 3 years, he's doing this as a 37-year-old having even played. That's the question. But I don't think it's going to hurt them at all. And now the question is just how much it's going to help them.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the big thing here. Because, listen, this is a risk too. Like, this is a gamble. Right. I mean, what if things don't work out? I mean, but that's every season. When you sign a contract with a guy, everything has risk, but this is a measured risk.
I'll be shocked if we're 40 games into the season and he's being healthy scratch and this isn't working.
Yeah. Alan,
I'll be shocked.
Alan, we go back to some leftovers. Alan says, "Hi guys, this is great news. In 22-23, Jonathan Toews put up 31 points in 53 games. Pacing for about 48 over a full season. That's a solid middle six production, especially at age 34, while battling health issues like chronic inflammation response syndrome and long COVID. He also posted a 63.1% face-off win rate, the best in the league among regulars, proving he was still elite at the dot. Now he signed a low-risk, bonus-heavy deal with the Winnipeg Jets after 2 years off. With Adam Lowry recovering from surgery, Toews could step into a key role early, bring leadership, defensive depth, and face-off dominance. And if he stays healthy, he could be a sneaky good pickup. Alan, I think you kind of laid it all out there. I think that's a great text message. He goes on to also ask this question: would this change Ehlers' mind about leaving? And we covered this a little bit on Friday, and I've had more time to think about it, and my mind has not changed. I don't think that these things are mutually exclusive. I don't think Nikolaj Ehlers goes, and he could be a Winnipeg Jet by the end of next week, or he could be on another team by the end of next week. We don't know what's going to happen with Nikolaj Ehlers. There's been many times where there's been certain that this or that is going to happen, and I think the door is still open to many options for Nikolaj Ehlers. I don't think that Jonathan Toews coming to the Jets changes his mind.
I think it helps that he's here. I don't think it sways him one way or the other. And we've talked about this last week and the week before. I just think Nick Ehlers knows what's on the table and what's there. And again, the money is the money, and he's going to get a lot more probably somewhere else. But I also understand he likes it here. But to me, I think Nick Ehlers is at a point, and I said this last week, he wants to be on a number one line, and I get that. I understand that from a player after 10 years and probably your last contract. I can see that that's what he kind of wants. So I think it helps, like bringing him in to a Nick Ehlers. I don't think it sways him, because I think his decision is about a lot more than the second line center. I think it's more about him being on the second line.
Yeah, you think that's the
I think the money is the forefront, and longevity and term and a lot. But the next question is like, he wants to win. And when I lay this out this way, there are a handful of teams that can do all of this for him. There are a handful of teams that are in contention. There are a handful of teams that can pay him probably more than the Jets are willing to. And there's a handful of teams that he can win with. Or be on the number one line. Sorry.
This texter says, do you guys think the Jets should pursue Patrick Kane now that we have Toews?
Yeah, I don't think so, because they're pretty strong on the right side.
Yeah.
I mean, this is how I've been answering that question the past week is, where are you playing him? Are you taking Perfetti's spot and moving Perfetti to the third line? Patrick Kane had 59 points, 21 goals in 72 games on a non-playoff team. The year before that, he had 47 points in 50 games for Detroit. 47 points in 50 games, but
yeah.
So last year, 21 goals, 59 points in 72 games. I mean, you could bring him in and play him with Toews on the second line and put Perfetti on the third line and try to get more production out of that third line.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But I would rather they go get a Peterka if you're going to bring in a right winger or somebody, a younger player that has more term. But I mean, the thing that I always have to keep reminding myself of, Cam, and for you listeners, is that they're in win now, right? So the idea of like 3 years ago bringing in a Patrick Kane and seeing if it'll work out on a 1-year deal or something, I'm not. You have players that you need to develop, get in there, get some playing time like Perfetti and stuff. But now is, I think more than ever, the Jets this year, next year are, I mean, they're always about the current season, but it's all in on that current season.
So Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, I mean, they occasionally played together, but it wasn't something that they were constantly in together. They were more of like, balancing things out, right? So Toews was on this line, Patrick Kane was on this line.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong when I compare these, because they were never as dynamic as McDavid and Draisaitl, but it reminded me of that situation. When needed, they would put those two together to get a goal or to get something done.
Yeah, that's right.
But mostly they tried to balance out the lineup and not have them together.
So were they guys that were constantly playing together? No, but listen, if there's a question of like chemistry or something like that, then they definitely know where each other's on the ice. But they're both,
like, nobody forgets the Kane dagger against Philly, the heartbreaker that he did on one knee and broke the heart and won a Stanley Cup. Like, I mean, these guys have some pedigree, but he's 36 years old too. But again, on an all-in season, when it's tough to get players to come to your city, you might do it on a 1-year deal.
This texter says the face-off's a dominant force for Jonathan Toews. He will raise the team's time of possession. Yeah, definitely. And that's exactly what, the Jets do. That's sort of their MO offensively, is to sort of bring the puck into the offensive line, disappear, move guys around, cycle the puck, find the open man, and make them pay. That's kind of what particularly the first line of the Jets has really, really liked to do. That's how they drive offense, and maybe it's something the second line needs to do a little bit better of.
I think of the Dallas series, and I thought they lost too many faceoffs.
Yeah.
I think of the Dallas game a couple of years ago when Hellebuyck lost his mask, and in the last 5 minutes, they lost 7 faceoffs, and that's how Dallas went from being 2 or 3 down. I forget the exact number, but coming back to within 1. It's not just about winning faceoffs to me. It's about winning them at key moments. And there was a lot of times in that Dallas series. I mean, we just have to look at the Manitoba Miracle, right? If you lose that faceoff, there's no way Perfetti ties that game. I think with 13 seconds left, they dump it down the ice, and then the overtime. So yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of debate about the faceoff, but you want the puck, and to get the puck, you have to win faceoffs. I think it starts and ends there for me.
Blair says, "Give the money to Ehlers. Jonathan is too old and broken." Well, there's some people who agree with Blair. The question of the day on 680 CJOB was, how do you feel about the Winnipeg Jets getting ready to sign Jonathan Toews? Great decision, 78.87%. Bad decision, 21.13%. So just over a fifth of those voting think it is a bad decision, but almost 4/5 think it's a good decision by the Jets.
And I want to reiterate this too. Like, there are times where something like this is done to sell tickets, sell jerseys, and make money. This is not one of those times.
When have the Jets ever done that?
I don't remember the Jets ever doing that, but I know some teams have, and it's romantic. This is not romantic. The Jets are, back to my part, are win now. They are win now, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win now. If this makes them 8% better, they're going to do it. If this makes them 80% better, they're going to do it if they can, and they could, so they did.
Justin texts the show and says, "Hot take: Toews becomes your number one shootout option now too."
Oh yeah, the old shootout.
It's pretty good at the shootout.
Yeah. Last player I thought that didn't get a chance was Chris Moneymaker Thorburn. Moneymakers, who just buried him every practice.
Anthony Peluso.
Anthony Peluso was deadly at practice too on the shootouts when they would do it at the end. I'll say, both those gentlemen went way more rounds than some other guys should have.
This texture from, as we go through some more of the leftovers, and this is actually a legitimate question, and I know you have the answer to this one, Jim. What is the salary cap cost when you put in the bonuses. So it's an AAV of $2 million. This has been reported by Chris Johnston, among other places. I think Ken Wiebe was on this too as well. And it's bonus laden. So how does the bonus system work in the NHL?
Well, the bonuses surprised me. And then when I was reading a little bit about the way it's structured, this might be the wave of the future for some veteran players. It's kind of innovative. But so it's $2 million base salary, and it's up to $5 million in bonuses. So $550,000 for each 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 games played. So he needs to get to 20 games, and he'll get $550,000. He also has $500,000 if the Jets make the playoffs and Toews plays 50 games or more.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he gets to 50, he's got 3 bonuses of $550K, and then he gets a 4th one if they make the playoffs and they plays up to 50.
So do those bonuses go on the cap?
Bonuses can go on this year's cap or next. It's up to the team to decide.
Okay.
So usually if a team is at the cap and 7 players all max out their bonuses and it puts them $2 million over the cap, sometimes teams will go, we'll pay that next year. But then most teams, so that's the thing about bonuses. They do count against the cap, but they have to count either this year or next year because some players' bonuses don't come into effect till like they reach game 82 or something.
We got one more text we're going to get to.
Sorry, it's just $250K for each round. Round 1, 2, and 3 wins. And I think it's $1 million if they win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, $1 million bonus for a Stanley Cup win with Toews playing 50% of the games.
Chipman and David Thompson, they'd love to cut that check, I'll tell you that.
It's not like there'll be a lot of passing to get him a goal with 2 games left to hit that bonus, like Pavel Bure years ago, who was on a 2-on-0 and shot because he had a bonus waiting for him. This is a lot of longevity, playtime, healthy body in the lineup bonuses.
This texter wants to talk about being able to attract more big names. We'll discuss that in the final segment, but I want to squeeze in some of these. This one's from... This caller called in to the Boston Pizza Jets at Noon hotline, open 24/7, 204-780-6800. Digging to the new Triple Pet Pizza and Double Trouble Nachos, available now only at Boston Pizza. The number one caller will be awarded a gift card, like Grant did to Boston Pizza on Friday. So let's squeeze some of these these calls, and this one's from George.
George, I just got a thought I might put through the both of your heads, and you tell me what might happen with it. You take a look at some of the Jet players that have left the Winnipeg Jets and won a Stanley Cup. Laurent Brossoit, Vegas. Nate Schmidt, Florida. Kevin Stedlin gets picked up by waivers to Florida, wins a Stanley Cup. Where do you think Ehlers might end up, and do you think he's going to be on a Stanley Cup team next year because he's obviously not going to sign with the Winnipeg Jets? Just wondering what your thoughts are. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon.
Well, that was another call, but that one wasn't particularly about Connor Hellebuyck. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. Other players leave teams, and then they go on, in some cases, to win Stanley Cups. Most time, no. Sometimes, yes. That's as much as I read into that. And yeah, Nate Schmidt's a good hockey player, and he was a good hockey player for the Winnipeg Jets, and he goes to Florida, and he's a big part of a Stanley Cup, so I'm congratulations to him.
And according to Nate, took less money to go to Florida from the I think it was 3 teams after him. Or?
Yeah. Here's Larry.
Hey guys, it's Larry. Listen, I've been listening to your callers, and they're saying trade Hellebuyck, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I don't think those guys know hockey from a hash pipe. Goaltending is the most important position on the team, and the Jets have the best one in the league. And no one deserved the Hart more than Hellebuyck because he was the player most valuable to his team. Jimmy, I sure hope the fatigue sets in for the Panthers and the Oilers next year because it looks like they may be back again if it doesn't. Thanks, guys.
It's very possible. Thanks for that, Larry. Appreciate it.
I'll tell you what, they might still be hungover from what I've been watching.
Let's take a break. Let's come back.
Not the Oilers.
On the other side, we'll give away that VIP text to the winner that's going to be heading on down to 690 St. Anne's Road. Wash Method when we come back. And another texter, as we go through the reheat, wants to know if this Jonathan Toews, the addition of him will change this. We'll discuss that after this.
CJOB.
There's a trade just coming down the pipe here. Jim Toth, what's up?
Ryan Poehling, from the Philadelphia Flyers and the Anaheim Ducks. Trevor Zegras is going to the Flyers for Ryan Poehling, a forward, a 2025 45th pick overall, and a 2026 4th round pick. So a 2nd round pick, a 4th round pick, separate years. And Paling going to Anaheim for your favorite player, Trevor Zegras.
My favorite player, absolutely. Very, very happy for Philadelphia Flyers fans.
They're going to love him. On that?
No, absolutely not. No, but listen, if you're looking for guys that, high risk, high reward, maybe just like Jonathan Toews, Trevor Zegras is a guy that I think is in that. It's going to be up to Rick Tocchet to turn him into something. And if you want to get our broader take on that, download the Jets at Noon podcast, the exclusive edition with Tyson, Jim, and myself on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your favorite podcasts, with exclusive Jets talk and content only found there. And take Jets at Noon wherever you go and continue the conversation whenever you want. Well, Kelly's offering us ribs if...
Yes, 60 points.
If Taves says 60 points. So that's good enough to win a VIP car wash from my good friends at Wash Method, 204-780-6860.
Now, it's not bribing because we don't have them yet.
I don't have them yet.
Just a great take.
They're not there yet.
Yeah.
But this texter says, here's Johnny. Man, we got Taves, a fellow St. Vital boy. It's like having your little brother in the NHL now playing for the home team. Excited to see what the rest of the offseason holds. Jets might be able to attract other big names now. Maybe. I can't say no, but maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out July 2nd.
I will end this today. We'll talk more about this week, but I think it's an interesting time for the Jets to be, because I think it's win now. They're going to go for a lot of things. We're going to find out more so than ever if they can get players to come here.
It's all about asset management, Jim, as far as I'm concerned. I think the Jets have done a pretty good job at that. Thank you very much, Jeffrey Fortier, for boosting the show. Great job as always. That's it for me. Be back same time tomorrow. See ya.